Hola, SAP developers. Welcome to the last day of the TOEFL 2024 integration track. In case you're not aware, the TOEFL is part of the TechEd experience, which means that we have even more opportunities to learn nowadays. So we had TechEd Virtual a couple of weeks ago. All the recordings are now available in the platform. Tomorrow we have the TOEFL session, which is a Q&A post-TechEd with Michael Ameling, who is the Chief Product Officer of SAP BTP. There's even TechEd viewing party content going on in the SAP community website, so make sure to check that out as well. And I will share all the links shortly. But well, before we start, please know that you can drop us your questions on the chat window, and I will be monitoring it, but we will have a special Q&A section at the end of the session. And well, let's kick it off. So today we have my colleague Shruti, who is part of the SAP Integration Suite team and product owner of the API management capability. And she will share with us how we can use the API Anomaly Detection functionality to protect our APIs in API management. Without any further delay, hola Shruti, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Antonio. Thanks for having me here. First of all, it's a pleasure to be interacting with the community. It's always nice to be talking to our users, to our partners. Before I really move on to the agenda, a very quick introduction about myself. I'm the area product owner for API management. This is a service, a key capability in Integration Suite, which is the enterprise iPaaS offered on BTP. Now, today, in the next, let's say, 20 minutes or so, I would like to first of all define API anomaly detection. Then we'll look at why this is really important. How is this beneficial to API owners, right? Why do we think this will add any value to API owners? I have a short demo. And towards the end, I am definitely open for feedback, any questions, clarifications that you made. With that, I will just move on. What really is API anomaly detection? Now, first and foremost, with API management, we allow you as API owners to develop and deploy APIs to perform certain business functions, to add security over backend services, to add traffic management policies, etc. Now, while the traffic is flowing, normally it does so on certain, expected pattern. And whenever there is a deviation from this pattern, it means something is happening, right? And whenever something unusual or some deviation in the pattern occurs, it normally requires some action to be taken. So this process of really identifying this unexpected behavior is called anomaly detection. I mean, we do it on API traffic, so it is API anomaly detection. And in order to do so, we would monitor the API traffic continuously, the requests, the responses. We look for patterns, right? We observe the patterns. We look at any deviations, and then we alert, right, that there are some deviations. So we flag whenever there is a deviation from the established norm. So that's really a very short introduction into, in general, anomaly detection and API anomaly detection. Let's look at why we really need this, right? So there needs to be a reason why we build all of these cool innovations. Today, with API management, we already have an analytics dashboard. Now, this dashboard is a key, let's say, a tooling that we provide to API owners, the developers, the DevOps personnel, in order to get insights on how the APIs are performing, what is the usage of these APIs, How is the API health? Are we keeping up with the SLAs? Are we keeping up with the KPIs that are defined? So all of these are key insights that are presented as charts and out-of-the-box reports with also the ability to have custom charts and reports in the analytics dashboard. Now, all of this is good as insights which are seen and then actions could be taken. However, we wanted to also innovate in this space a little bit more by making use of the hottest trend, which is AI and ML. And so we looked at this problem a little bit more deeply, right? So what else would API owners need? API owners are concerned whenever they see this deviation from normal usage and performance, right? So this probably is a symptom of certain security threat. It might indicate that there are malfunctions in the system. It might indicate operational issues in the system, right? The health of the system probably is not great. This, in turn, how does this impact business? All APIs are consumed by developers, right? There is somebody who is calling this API to get a certain response. It is performing a business function. It is probably creating a sales order. It is probably creating a flight booking. It is probably giving out information, critical information from a business system. Now, this API, if the health of this API isn't great, that affects the developer performance, right? The developer experience, the developer productivity is impacted. Also, APIs do not always exist independently, in the sense they're always also integrated in certain applications. The user experience of those tools, those applications are impacted whenever such a deviation occurs. And the API owners, one of the key responsibility would be to ensure that these APIs are up and running all the time, right? So API owners care about performance of the APIs. They would like to have optimized performance, offer optimized performance for the APIs that they're responsible for. If there are anomalies in such API traffic, it impacts the performance. If this is detected early enough, then that could result in improving the performance, in reducing the latencies. Maybe there is a need to build a cache. Maybe the traffic load is extremely high, and we have seen that in order to comply with whatever SLAs are defined, maybe there needs to be load balancing done. So all of these things, right, from the performance standpoint, API owners care deeply and would like to identify any kind of a deviation. They also care about business continuity, ensuring business continuity, right? APIs are the backbone of many interactions that happen between systems. Modern applications are built on APIs as building blocks. Now, any kind of a disruption or a degradation on these APIs always affect the continuity of the business. So in order to, again, provide superior user experience, ensure continuity of businesses, ensure that critical processes run seamlessly, API owners have to ensure that, the APIs are fit and fine. And again, any deviation there, they would want to be hence notified and react. The other thing that they also, think about is security, right? So APIs add this additional layer of security over critical processes running in the background. And many a times, any abnormal activity could mean there is an attack, could mean that somebody is trying to, bring down a system. So again, maybe flagging and identifying these malfunctions, these deviations will prove very beneficial to API owners, ensuring that there are no security breaches, there is data confidentiality, etc. So from all of these angles, right, API owners would really be keen to know if there is any kind of an unusual activity in the system, in the API traffic. I would also want to take some real world examples, okay? For example, let's say you are building or you have a marketplace, e-commerce marketplace, which is quite popular, and there is a flash sale running. And whenever such a sale is happening, you can expect that there is a surge in traffic, right? And as expected, there would be an API to process the payments. And if that API is not scaling enough for this high traffic, then obviously this will occur in loss of revenue because orders may not go through. The users gets frustrated because the experience is not great, and maybe you will end up with a not so great sale, right? So with proper anomaly detection, we can mitigate these issues. There may not be delays in transaction processing, right? So whenever a surge in traffic is seen or is expected, then maybe there is efficient load balancing that can be enabled on the backend servers. Maybe additional resources could be allocated, right? So such actions could be taken upfront because of such anomaly detection algorithms that are running behind the scenes continuously. I would like to take another example of, again, these flight bookings. Again, there is a huge traffic that we see, air traffic, and hence API traffic that we see these days on all the booking sites, right? And they rely upon the API, the flight booking APIs behind the scenes. And if the availability of these APIs are not great, then again, the customers get frustrated. The apps don't function as they are supposed to. There could be booking delays and also loss of bookings, right? In order to avoid, if there are detection algorithms running, then maybe as soon as there are errors, as soon as probably the performance is degrading, there is a latency that is observed, the API owners could be notified and appropriate actions could be taken, to identify why the delays are happening, why is the performance so bad, is the backend not configured correctly, is there a timeout that is happening? I mean, many such things could be looked into within the right time, and the service could resume, right? Business continuity could be ensured. So these are just a couple of examples that I could that I thought we could relate to understand the importance of why we require anomaly detection when it comes to API traffic, and how API owners can take the advantage of such detections. Now I think it's time, after having this understanding, to look at a short demo, right? So I will actually present a video. Yeah. So the demo actually starts with a notification that we have received on email. Let's assume there is a tenant where this feature is enabled, and I receive an email stating that there is an anomaly. Now, it directly gives me a link to get into the analytics dashboard, which has this information stating that there have been anomalies that are detected. This is a list that I see, and I am able to get into the anomalies to get more information. I see that this work order download API is having some kind of an anomaly, and I would like to see what is it. I need more information. I see that the client errors have increased, right? So there is a chart that shows me the expected errors are, quite small. Normally the system works fine. But at some point, I see that there is a huge shoot up with about 1.5K errors. And this is indicated by this red dot. And just by clicking on that red dot, I see more details, right? I see that the client errors have increased. this has happened on a certain date and a time. It says there is a 98% increase in the error rate, and it is happening on a specific API. It also tells me that the API is connected to this target, host. That means this is the backend, the S4 backend, which is actually, processing this order maybe. And it also gives me, interestingly, the details about who are the developers who were consuming these APIs, who might be impacted because of these errors, high number of errors, right? Now, I can use this information to really understand where is the blast radius? Who are the developers who probably I have to communicate with in order to, manage this error situation? Which is the target system which I have to look into more closely in order to resolve these errors. Interestingly, I also have this suggestions tab where I see what I could do next, right? Now the anomaly has occurred, I see errors, but it also tells me, hey, go take a look at this, the policies that are configured on these APIs, which probably need some fine tuning, which probably needs some corrections. It also tells me that you can click this link and go into the target endpoint and check the policies on the target system, or maybe the configurations, the load balancing configurations, or anything on this target as well, right? So basically the suggestions tab is giving me some recommendations on what to do next, how to get out of the situation. There is also this interesting feature about evaluating this anomaly, right? I could say, okay, whatever the system has flagged, yes, is an anomaly. Or I could also say, no, I don't think this is really an error, an anomaly. Maybe this is just a false positive, right? So this information goes back into the system and then it learns using this feedback that is provided as well. Okay. So I just clicked on this link. It's a convenience link. I went to the API, which was actually providing the policies, which will actually provide the policy editor, which can help me troubleshoot this further, find resolutions for the anomaly that we just saw. This was just, again, one user flow, right? I could go back to the anomaly dashboard and I could look at certain other types of anomalies as well. I took the example of client errors. Now I will show you another example, another type of anomaly that has occurred. In this case, it is the surge in traffic, right? So there is an increase in the traffic. And again, a chart pictorially depicts with the dotted lines what is the expected traffic. And at a certain point, I suddenly see this huge spike. And I also see the red dot. And I click on this red dot to understand more details. I see there is a 35%, 34% increase in the traffic. Now I need to think, right, whether my backend can process this high traffic, because one is the API that is configured, which needs to allow this traffic. There shouldn't be any rate limiting, any traffic management policy. The other thing is also the backend. So again, this information that you see in the anomaly tells me which is the backend that is affected, and I can get into the backend and then check the configurations, right? It also again gives me details about certain suggestions as well on what could be done. Another thing that I want to highlight is it's not just the anomalies in the past week. We could see the past anomaly data up to about a year. And this could be useful in situations where, we are trying to look at certain trends. We are trying to see what actions we took in the past. We are trying to see how the system detected anomalies in the past year, right? So this also helps build confidence on the accuracy of these predictions and of these detections. Okay. So that really is the end of the quick demo that I wanted to share. And with this, I would also like to summarize what we just saw, right? And a little bit about what we have built behind the scenes. First and foremost, as the title already revealed, this is a machine learning and artificial intelligence based feature. There is some kind of a data collection, which is primarily the API traffic data that we are collecting continuously in order to train an AI model after some pre-processing. And this will help the model learn the behavior of the API, right? Of the API traffic. Now, with this learned behavior, there is this continuous monitoring that is happening. The model is constantly in action. And the moment there is a deviation that is seen in the normal pattern, then the detection, it flags this as an anomaly, and immediately there is an alert that is sent out, right? We have integrated with the alert and notification service in BTP. So the communication channel, the notification channel could be, a choice that you make as a configuration. In the demo, we saw an email being sent to a specific user account, email ID, but it could as well be like a ServiceNow ticket. It could be like a Teams message. It could be a Slack message, several channels that alert notification service today offers, right? And when such a notification occurs, we saw it in the demo, there is a link, you can directly get into the tenant where the anomaly has occurred. You can get more details, you can get more insights, and you can see the suggestions, recommendations, and you can go ahead and take action. And again, the feedback loop allows you to improve the accuracy of these detections. Right. So, yeah, it basically works by comparing the incoming traffic, the API calls that we see as they are happening with the past time series data, right? So with this comparison, the deviations and patterns are detected, and then they are flagged. So that's actually it, right? I think I'm quite on time. I am now also open, for questions if there are any. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Shruti. Unfortunately, wait, let me check again. I checked 2 minutes ago. Yeah, there's still no questions, but you know what? I actually have a couple of questions myself. So, so if you don't mind, I would like to ask my questions. Cool.
Okay.
So, so I understand that this is there's a machine learning model behind the API anomaly detection, right? And you show us in one screen, for example, that there is a data collection process, correct? So, given that there's a data collection process, let's imagine that, for example, I enable the API anomaly detection functionality for a specific API right now, like right now, okay? So how long does the API anomaly detection job needs to collect data before it's able to start offering me some suggestions? As in like before it starts knowing like, okay, this is the normal behavior. And now if I see something outside of this sort of thresholds, then I will raise an alert. How long is that data collection process basically?
That's an excellent question, Antonio. So there are the training itself. There is, of course, there is data that is required for training, right? Maybe I also would like to share that there has to be some historical data. Otherwise, there is no cold start for the model today. So once that such a data is available, there is enough volume, which is like some volume that we expect. The training takes a couple of hours. It's not more than that. So you switch the feature on. You can simply say that I would like to choose these APIs, or you could just leave it default. It just monitors the overall system health in that case. You're interested in specific APIs, you could also do that, right? And once this is switched on, with a couple of hours of training, the first time training, we should be good to go. And if there is a deviation already, then it should already be able to flag. Yeah, so I think having enough data is important. So if we start with a tenant today and then immediately enable the feature, then the model hasn't clearly not learned anything specific to your traffic, right? Maybe all this generic patterns are okay, but it does require your data in this tenant and a little bit of time for training, but which is not too much.
Okay, makes sense, makes sense. So there is one question in the chat by Anton, which is similar to a question that I have here. So I'll ask his question. And this I imagine revolves around. So you know how you were talking about API Anomaly Detection being able to raise alerts to the alert notification service in SAP BTP, right? But Anton is asking, how will this be integrated in CALM, in the Cloud Application Lifecycle Management?
Excellent question again, right? We all know CALM is really seen as the one-stop monitoring solution for multiple SAP applications, and many customers have CALM as their central monitoring piece. This is something that we would also want to do. Today, this is not supported. We thought it's good to offer these multiple notification channels, but we are looking at also integrating this with CALM. However, to see more details about these APIs, right? I mean, what we saw in the demo is just a list of anomalies. But if you would like to see more details, insights, you would anyway have to come into the analytics dashboard that is inside this tenant. So CALM still today, unfortunately, with CALM, we do not have detailed logs about these APIs. Hence, we thought it's best to offer this within the tool that we provide, because it's also handy for you to get into the rest of the charts that are available for further analysis if required. But this is not far away that we would also try to integrate with CALM and get these notifications. This is also something that we've heard this, and we think that it is valuable to also have this integration in place.
Is there anything that we can find in the roadmaps regarding that, or not yet?
Not yet added.
Okay.
There are a couple of upcoming features. We would definitely want to look at the increase in scope. We would like to increase the list of anomalies that we detect. Today, this is limited to the errors, the surge in traffic, the latency. We would like to look at many more types of anomalies. We would like to look at intelligent recommendations. So we just got started, I would say, and we have many things to improve and add value. And one of the things will eventually also be this integration with CALM, where the notifications can be seen in a central place.
That's exciting to hear. Excellent, excellent. So, and there are no more questions in the chat, so I'll just ask the other question that I have here, which is, and see if my understanding is correct. So basically, everything that you've shown us is purely monitoring, right? Like it will notify me, it will alert me, it will show me that there's been a spike in traffic, it will alert me that something has happened, right? That's outside of the behavior, so that I can react to it and maybe, I don't know, deploy more microservices to handle the extra traffic, right? But there is no, so it's not something that it will not stop the traffic, basically. It will just alert me of it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So
Okay.
automatic resolution. I mean, we did think about this, right? Automatic resolution, healing, maybe applying certain policies. All of this requires, as far as we understand, some kind of a consent, or really the rules to be configured. None of these things will automatically happen. Again, this could be based on certain actions that are taken by owners, and then we learn those actions. Again, this is a little bit of more advanced learning on the recommendations itself, right? I mean, the recommendations, like I mentioned, we want to be a little bit more intelligent with what we recommend. Again, what we will probably start with is recommendations based on the actions that you have taken in the past. But we would also probably ask for confirmation. Do you want to automatically also apply these policies, let's say? So we don't have any of this today. Again, a little bit in the future, but we do know that this is the direction that we would like to go. There has to be human actors. We will not do anything automatically, but if certain rules are set up, and if there is already like a pre-confirmation that API owners do provide on these tenants with some configurations, we may do some auto, let's say, corrections or auto healing. There are some use cases where we could do this. But I think human actors are very important. We have still not reached a stage where we will just take these actions involuntarily on these.
No, this is good. This is something that I like in reality, like having that human in the loop, right? Like having that person making those decisions in the end, like and that's, I think that's the real benefit of having something AI powered, right? Like like this is the case where you have a machine learning model like actually looking for on your behalf for that traffic and making sure that they will end up notifying you, and then just having the corrective actions, having a human doing them. So that's the perfect balance, I would say, like that collaboration between AI and the human, right? So which is good. We have a couple of more questions. So two questions from Daniel. The first one is, how many different anomalies is possible to check for?
Yeah. Daniel, thanks for the question. So we have started off with three broad types of anomalies. Definitely one is a sudden surge in the traffic. So this is related to the overall traffic itself. Or even a drop, basically a change, unusual traffic volume, right? That's one. The second one is around the latency, right? So if the performance is really high, if there's a huge latency that is getting added, that's the second category. The third category is around the errors. So it could be the server errors, right? The 5xx errors normally, what we call 4xx errors. 5xx, and we have the client errors, right? The 4xx errors, which catch the authentication errors, authorization errors. So broadly, these are the ones that are today possible. And like I shared a couple of minutes ago, one of the key things that we would like to do is expand the scope. We would definitely want to hear if there are suggestions on what types you would be interested in, what would add value. We have some ideas of our own, but we will slowly roll this. But this is what we have today to begin with.
Excellent, thank you. I'm sure that Daniel might have some ideas of other potential anomalies to detect. And he has another question regarding the speed. So how fast will you get the information about a spike in traffic?
It is near real time, Daniel. We expect it to come to us pretty quickly, right? I mean, this is not, I would still not call it real time, but it is definitely real time. And again, this is also something that we will constantly want to improve. We want the models to be more accurate. We hope that there is more adoption, the more the data, the more accuracy of the model, and quickly the reaction time would also improve. So we start well. We hope to improve, I think.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you very much. And we don't have any additional questions. Yeah, we've covered everything. So thank you very much, Shruti, for sharing your knowledge and expertise in this session. It was really good, really fantastic to learn more about the API anomaly detection. I had a bit of doubts about some of the things on how the feature actually works, but now they're all clear to me now. So thank you for that. I don't know if you want to add something else.
I am very, very happy that I got this opportunity, and thanks a lot for patiently listening. And like I just shared, this is the first step that we took. We wanted to do something in the space. It's a very hot topic. We expect to innovate a lot more in the space in the coming months and quarters. And yeah, please adopt the feature and share your feedback. And yeah, let's take this exciting journey together, right?
Excellent, excellent. I forgot actually sharing on chat the slides, but I'm about to paste the link. So there's the link to all the slides so that you have them handy then. And well, I also just want to thank the viewer, for joining the live event or maybe the recording because this event's there's people that are unable to join live, so end up watching a recording. So thank you for watching the recording and making it this far. And just a quick reminder that there is plenty for everyone to learn during the Tour Fest. So make sure to check out other sessions that are part of the event. We have one more session part of the integration track, which is today at, I think, 2:30 Central European summertime, talking all about enterprise automation with SAP, the latest innovations that are there in that space. So yeah, I'll catch with you then. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Ciao. Bye bye.